Good morning, all. Um, what a day. What a day to wake up and have breath in our lungs and have fragrance fill our senses and light and life and color and vibrancy, um, even shades of gray, alerting us to our ability to see color and hue and shade and differentiate, um, to be able to discern the difference between things. That's kind of what I want to talk about today. This idea of what we see and how to discern and how to gain insight and taking a step back and giving ourselves permission to soak something in and to allow it to speak to our hearts and to our minds to be able to settle into something and truly begin to grasp its significance. With that said, I'm actually going to take a little bit of a detour real quick. Um, my intention today is to talk about choice, um, what I'm able to choose, um, how to choose it, um, that I have the ability to make a choice. And as Jesus said, I've given you the right to be anyone who receives what I give them. I give the right to become a child of God. The right to become a child of God. And in becoming a child of God, I then have the right to choose, the ability to choose, the power to choose, even to some degree, the authority to choose where my mind will go, the condition of my heart, as my heart has been made into a condition of rightness with God, being approved by Him and accepted by Him because of His great love for us in the person of Jesus. So I have the power and the privilege and the right to choose today. Um, so the idea now is to take a step back, literally to take a step back, moment to moment. Yesterday, I talked about the fact that every circumstance we find ourselves in, every little thing that happens in our lives, everything, every tiny thing, every thought, every emotion, every circumstance, every situation, every relationship, every conversation within a relationship, I in that moment have a choice as to how I will see it, perceive it, respond to it. I have a choice. I have a choice. I have the ability because God has given me the ability to capture that moment and to discern whether or not my heart's attitude, my mind's thoughts, the words that come from my mouth, the actions that extend from my feet and hands, does this reflect the very nature of Jesus? Does this reflect the person of Christ? Does this reflect the spirit that is in me that enables me not just to admire Jesus, not just to want to be like Jesus, but to actually act like Jesus? Ephesians says that I'm to be an imitator of God. Hmm. That seems really tough until again we finish the text. Be an imitator of God, therefore, as a dearly loved child. In other words, as a son or daughter of this Father, as a brother of this brother, Jesus. You can imitate him, not because you have the power to do so in and of yourself, but because you have the Holy Spirit in you that enables you. And that Holy Spirit is the very nature and person and character of God Himself, of Jesus. And that's His DNA, right? And you've heard, we've talked about this before. DNA is really tough. It's strong. When I look at a person I'm related to, and I go, man, I don't know if I want that mannerism or that attribute or that. Soon and very soon, I find myself being just like that. Why? Well, because it's their DNA. It's flowing in me. So making a choice, we have the power to do so. But to do so, we have to be, as Peter put it, alert and sober. We have to have taken a step back, not merely reacting to our world, but to be able to take a step back, take the blow of whatever it is that hits us, and assess and appraise the moment and look for insight. So in Proverbs 2, it says, my son or daughter, my child, if you, This is a father or God himself speaking to us. If you accept my words and store up my commands within you, if you will hear what I'm saying and accept it and, ponder it, right, then store it in within you, not just to keep it for another time, but to contemplate it is to see its significance. And then if you turn your ear toward wisdom, if you hear that voice and turn your ear toward it, and you apply your heart to understanding what is being said and what is being done, what is happening around you, if you apply your heart to understanding, God, I want to understand this. I see it. I don't want just to be an observer of it. Neither do I just want to be a reactor to it. No, I want to understand this. Show me. So what does he say? So if you apply your heart to understanding, and indeed you call out for insight, God, don't let me just see the surface of this thing. Let me see behind it and under it and around it. I want to understand this. Well, what does it say? Turn your ear to wisdom, apply your heart to understanding. Indeed, if you call for insight, don't be satisfied with just seeing the surface and reacting to what you see or being paralyzed by it for that matter. But take a breath, take a step back and say, okay, God, I see it. I'm observing this. In fact, I'm emotionally responding to it. Help me to understand it. Apply your heart to understanding. Call out for insight. Let me see around it, beside it, through it. I really want to understand this. Verse 4, and if you look for it as silver, if you search for this thing as if there's a treasure hidden inside of it, and you search for it as a hidden treasure, digging deep into the moment, digging deep into the circumstance, digging deep into this. As to what? As to unearth what's actually happening, to unearth what's actually in there, to see there's a treasure buried under all this stuff. What I initially observe, what I see on the surface, isn't everything. It's not. Dig deep. See, then you'll understand the fear of the Lord. In other words, then you'll understand God's working in it, God's working through it, God's intentions for it. When? When I've done this, when I have this idea that the world around me isn't just happening and I'm supposed to react to it or survive in it, but in fact, there's significance and magnificence around me. And regardless of the effect of sin on this world and what it causes the world to behave like and act like and talk like and the way it goes, God says, no, I have for you something in this. I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm going to redeem it, but you've got to join with me in the search. You can't just react by your flesh. You can't be afraid of what's happening around you. Don't fear what they fear. Listen, you're not you, I have drawn you out of the world and made you my child. And then I've said, listen, I want you now to join me in the mission, which means you have to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm using this stuff to grow you, to mature you, to deepen you, to strengthen you. To do what? To go back in. To be able then to interpret the world around us in the lives of others, to bring them peace, to bring them insight, to bring them understanding, to help them see that they don't have to be a slave to this world and the world's ways, to the fear of this world and the fear of death. They don't have to be afraid. They don't have to be afraid of the turbulence and everything that's going on around you. You don't have to be afraid. But in fact, God is in the midst of it and he's working it out. And he's even taking those things that were meant for evil and he's converting them just to draw men to himself and those who have already come to him to form and shape them, mature them, deepen them, strengthen them, and equip them to do what? To go back in, to go get. So as children of God, we have this incredible privilege to ask him to give us understanding, to grow us in wisdom, give us insight, help us to see that there's more here than what meets the eye. Hmm. So accepting his words, I am God. I have a purpose. I have made you for my delight and for you to delight in me. There's a mission that I'm about that I want you to be a part of. So listen closely to what I say and apply your heart to understanding it, to going deeper than the surface. Now call out for insight. See through this to what is actually happening. Be able to take a step back and go, oh, I'm beginning to get it. And then search for it. Dig deep. Dig deep. And what you find in the center of this is God's wisdom. What you find in the center of this are God's intentions. What you find in the center of this is God's incredible faithfulness and love and desire to unravel all the things that bind the hearts of men and women and to breathe life, that this world is not the end, but there's something far greater in store for you. And you who know this, you join me in it, you grow, and you help me unveil that thing. That's a choice we have today. It's a choice we have today. As we look at what's going on around us, will we be oppressed by it? Will we be paralyzed by it? Will we fear what everyone else fears? Will we allow anger and maybe disappointment to twist our hearts and to cause us to be reactors? Or will we take a step back and say to God, okay, I don't understand this right now. I don't really get it. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. I'm not sure how to respond to this. So do me a favor, Lord. Help me to understand this. Help me to understand how this is working in me, but now how you would work this out through me in the life of another. Help me to see that. Give me insight. Let me see through this to the true meaning, to the true understanding. Help me to search for you in the midst of all this and all that you're doing and how I might join you in it. That I might delight in you and hold you in awe, because when I see you, the fear of you isn't to be afraid of you. The fear of you is to recognize, wow, in the midst of all this, he is still mighty and powerful and glorious. And he's able to take all this garbage and make beauty out of it. What in the world? What in the world? See, the Lord gives wisdom. And from his mouth, if we're willing to hear it, come knowledge and understanding. And then he holds success in store for the upright. For those who will come after him, those who will hear him, those who will continue to try to gain understanding and insight into who he is and what he's doing and how he's going about it and how we might join him in it. He holds success for us. Well, what is success? Is it not to grow in him? Is it not then to be an impact in the lives of others? Is it not then to walk together in an incredible unity that is beyond human capability? See, he holds success for us. And in his shield, he shields us who walk with him. He guards our hearts. He guards the course of the just, and he protects the way of his faithful ones. What is the way? The way is life. To whom? To him. What is the process? As he draws us to himself and he begins to unfold in front of us the wisdom of his ways, we walk toward that with confidence, recognizing that, yes, there are things happening around us, but we do not have to be overcome by them. And in fact, not only do we not have to be overcome by them, we now can take others who are being overcome and pull them up out by his strength, his power, his wisdom, by understanding what he is doing in the midst of all these things. So I'll close with this. We didn't go anywhere where I thought we were going to go, but I'm going to close with this. Psalm 37 has been a psalm that God has put on my heart almost every day for the last 2 weeks. And a lot of it, frankly, it just looks like what it is we're going through. So I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Don't be afraid of those who are evil. Do not fret of those who are evil. Do not be afraid of those who are evil, those who bring their intentions are to just create chaos and peril and craziness. Don't be afraid of them. And don't be envious of those who do wrong. Envious of those who do wrong, meaning their successes, their prosperity, and their apparent victory. So don't be afraid of those who are evil, and don't be envious of those who do wrong. In the grand scheme of things, they're like grass that will soon wither. Their life will begin to dissipate, and they'll fall to the wayside. And they're like green plants. They'll soon die away. What are we to do instead? We're to trust in the Lord. Put our trust there. And listen to this. And do good. Trust in the Lord and do good. Don't be afraid of those who do evil, and don't be envious of those who do wrong. Eventually, all that stuff will fade into the distance. Instead, you put your trust in the Lord, and in that, do good, and you will dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. You will live a life here and enjoy the safety of your soul being safe in the confines of God's hands and his loving intentions and his faithfulness and your ultimate destiny, which is life in him. So take delight in the Lord. Take delight in him. Rejoice in him. Find joy in him and your station in him, your condition in him, and then the privilege you have to join him in his work. Delight in that. Delight in who he is. Delight in what he's doing. Delight in his redemption and his redeeming of the things around us. Delight in that and bring that forward. And he will give you the desires of your heart. Now, that's a dangerous statement in this sense. As I delight in the Lord, my heart will delight in him, and the desires of my heart will be in line with his delight, which will be in line with him. He will convert my heart and will cause it to desire what he desires. So therefore, commit your way to the Lord, this road to wisdom. Trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn. In other words, he'll stand you up like a light in the darkness, and he will all who see us will see him through us. If we will commit our way to him, we can trust that he will do this thing. He will make my character like that of Jesus, righteous, acceptable, approved by God, and effective, and it will shine like the dawn. And then any vindication that is coming to me will shine like the noonday sun. That he will be my rock and my redeemer. He will be my refuge and my hiding place. He will be my strength and my shield. He will see fit to bring me along the path he has for me. So today, are we bringing mercy, grace, peace, hope, goodness to bear? Are we? As God gives us the wisdom to see our circumstances and to gain insight and to see his incredible working despite the garbage through which we wade. Are we bringing mercy, grace, peace, hope, goodness to bear? Or are we perpetuating, are we part of the chaos, the fear, and the increasing distrust and anger? See, it's not just what we say. It's how we say it and to whom and when and with what intentions. Is our heart in a place to do good? Have we chosen to seek out God and his love and his grace and his mercy, to experience it, to realize it, and then bring it to bear?